Right, okay, I've got my circuit board pattern on the photoglossy paper right now. And now I've got to put the circuit board, which I've cleaned extremely thoroughly, on, let's see, get it the right way around so I can see what we're doing. I've got to get this lined up. It's a really fiddly job. And I've got to make sure that because I've got another circuit board underneath there, I've got to make sure that lines up with that gap, which it's not at the moment. So, get the light on the other side, I think. Seems to be this side that needs to be lined up best. Once I get that straight, kind of tricky. I think I've got the edge right. It's hard to see, I know. Right, hopefully I've got that set right. Now I've got to use some Captain tape. I could use sellotape, but because I'm going to be using a lot of heat, sellotape tends to melt and make a gooey mess, but I've got a bit of Captain tape I can use to go down the sides to hold the paper straight. Yeah, it's a bit fiddly. Right, look a bit of the tape. It's just to hold it in place while I get the iron on. I've got to turn it upside down, you see, and I don't want it to slip. So the tape only purpose is to hold it while I turn it upside down, really. Once I get the iron on the photo paper, once the heat takes hold, it won't move anymore. Put that one on. Right, I've got it on. I'll turn it upside down now. Of course, not much to see. So the tape stuck to the paper. Right. Right, we're just waiting for the electric iron to warm up now. Yeah, and once the iron hot enough, then it's a question of doing this. And yeah, I'm just going to leave that a few minutes. Well, I've been doing some ironing for a few minutes now. I'm not sure whether or not it's going to stick. I haven't got the temperature too high. I might take it a bit higher actually. I've got it set to silk settings, and if it doesn't work, I'll have to do it again. I don't want to destroy the board. I actually overheated one circuit board and some time ago, and all the copper buckled up. Ah dear. Well, look at that. It almost worked. Just put the light on. I've still got some on my paper, so it's not worked properly. This is my photo paper. There's a bit left on here. You can see that. Well, yes, it's my fault. Okay, I know what I did wrong. I'll tell you what I did. I tried to peel up that end. I tried to peel up this end halfway through the ironing. Lifted it up to see if the transfers had actually stuck to the board, and they hadn't. So I put it back and I continued ironing. And the part which I never messed with has come out perfectly. So I have to do it again. I've got to scrub. It's torchlight. I have to scrub all of this off, literally, off my copper board. I have to scrub it all off and start again, because you can't overlap one process with the previous process, because you can guarantee it won't line up properly. You know, it'll be staggered and my holes will be filled with black goo, and so yeah. Oh well, I learned something. This paper works great as long as you don't poke around and try to lift one corner up halfway through. Anyway, at least I learned something. Well, I tried to scrub it off with lighter fuel. Then I tried some isopropyl alcohol in my syringe. It wouldn't work. So, why wool? I need light. I keep forgetting. What's the matter with this torch? Right. So, wire wool always works. But you're supposed to scrub the board with wire wool anyway to get it clean. So I'm going to get it all off, because I tell you, God, this stuff, it sticks really hard. It sticks really hard. I'm no kidding. And I use the silk setting on my iron, so that's it's perfect setting. The writing wasn't smudged, because I had some writing on my circuit board. It wasn't smudged. It was perfect. It's just that one corner was completely wasted. Right. Now it's time to finish getting rid of all the remainder. I missed a bit. A little bit in the corner there. Almost. I think it's time to run it under the tap, don't you think? Right, that board's nice and clean. Yeah. Start again in a minute. I'm just going to put it on here, let it dry, and wash down this top. I actually use some, I'm not doing a commercial, some Astonish Orange cleaner stuff to finish it off cleaning. So now let's print another one out. I'm glad I got a whole pack of about 40 about 40 of those photo papers. So right, I'll just put my torch over here. I was going to wash it. I was going to soak it. I was going to soak it in this plastic container, and like I normally do, but when I looked in that corner and it was completely messed up, I just pulled it off. I thought, wow, I didn't even need to soak it in water. It literally just came off perfect, except for that one little bit. Yeah, I didn't even need to soak it. So the next time I'll do is, well, I probably will soak it just to be on the safe side, because there was some little bits, or some tiny specks which appear to have been left behind. But yeah, if I soak it, then it should work. Great. So here we are again, ironing away. I'm using the edge of the iron, and I heat the whole thing up by resting it on the board And now I'm just using the edge. I don't think some people use the tip, but personally I think that's stabbing a little bit too much, and it can actually distort the transfers underneath. So I'm just using the edge, and I didn't even really need to use the tip. Oh, it's moving, it's slipping a bit. This is difficult to do, holding a phone and an iron and trying to stop it sliding around. Hang on. Right. So I'll just have to pause again. We're almost there. My timer on the microwave says, I'm timing it, is 1 minute to go, so I better not keep waffling. Yeah, I'm actually doing it for 7 minutes, but because of me videoing and stopping and starting, I'm doing an extra 3 minutes. So. But I think we're just about there. I'm basically going to turn the iron off now on the switch. And then I'm going to keep ironing while it cools. To make sure it sticks to the board. And we'll see how it turns out in a little while. Just need to get the scissors, cut the extra paper off, and I cannot do that with one hand. Right, next step, boil some water and soak it in boiling water until the paper softens, and we can get it all off there. Yeah. Right, I've got it in the boiling water. You can probably see the steam actually. Yeah, here we go. So the paper is bubbling. The paper is starting to peel, which is brilliant. Oh, my camera steamed up. I don't think it likes steam. Oops. There we go. Right. Right, we'll just let that soak for, well, I'll give it 20 minutes and I'll come back. Right, using my trusty needle, because the water's still very hot, I'm just lifting the paper, and it looks like it's worked. There's still a line on the paper because that was outside the board area. Oops, steamed up again. That was outside the board area, so that's fine. But yeah, it looks like it's working. I'm not too worried about the edges too much, as long as the main board in the centre is fine, because I can always touch up the edges with an ink conductive pen. So I have to keep wiping the camera because it's steaming up. Yeah, it looks like it's soft. It's a bit too hot for me. Yeah, just look a bit too hot to stick my fingers in there at the moment, so I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. Right, we're just gonna peel this paper off. It's dropping to bits actually. It's all goo. Right, try the other side. Ah, it's hot. Very hot, but still. Right, see if I can get this. Oh, I've still got tape on there. I think I'm just going to move this water out of the way. I don't want to drop the camera in. The camera in there, do I? Right, let's get this tape off. Get the other one off. Sorry, you get it on my camera. See, it didn't melt. Stuck pretty well. Right. Hopefully I can turn this. Oops, it's stuck to tissue paper now. It's supposed to mop up after me. Let's try and. Right, it's coming. I'm just going to soak it a bit more once I get this off. My coordination's shot. I can't even look. Aim the camera at the flipping board. Right, okay, let's soak it a bit more now. Turn that other light off now. And let's just oops. Sorry, I've got no heat tolerance. I'm just gonna rub with my finger. Oh, it's coming. Oh, it looks great. Soak a bit more. It's cooling down slowly. Oh, I'm just getting used to it. It's coming off. Oh. Yeah, the transfers are really stuck well to the board. Actually, really well. Actually, I can put some cold water in there. Right, that's better. I can work with it now. Yeah, it's fogging up. Oh, it looks good. It's better than it did last time. Yes, the safest way is to soak it in water. That way you're guaranteed to get every bit of transfer on the board and not stuck to the paper. Nearly there. It looks good. I got some isopropyl alcohol to finish cleaning it when I've done all this, got this paper off, because there'll be probably some bits left over that the alcohol should get rid of. Yeah, nearly there. I'm just rubbing it gently. And the writing, that's come out really well. There's some really tiny writing on there. I'll try and get it on the magnifying glass in a bit. And I'm just going to pause this video because it's boring. Well, it's taking shape. It's almost there. There's a few little bits of white stuff between the tracks. I just need to get that off with a cotton bud, and then it will be done. It's looking pretty good, actually. Yeah, I'm impressed. Well, I'm impressed with the technique, you know, of using the photo transfer paper. It actually worked better than it did previously. I did it once before. It was somebody else's printer though. It was my daughter's printer, but for some reason this one's turned out better. I don't know why. Must be a different type of toner. And I am actually very surprised the tolerances that I've got where when I placed that paper, the transfer paper onto the board, it was so perfect. I mean, this is where my syringe with the isopropyl alcohol is, where I'm pointing here. This is the cut, a partial cut I made through the board. Right on the edge of that track there. Literally is about a millimetre gap. And literally that's just bang on. Just bang on. And on the other side, the circuit board edge is right here. And I've literally just got those pads just inside the board. Yeah, so yeah, that's perfect. So I'm going to etch it now. put it in some ferric chloride and etch the board, and then I can drill it and build the circuit board. So yeah, I'm very impressed actually. The wording has come out pretty cool. Actually, I'll try and do a scan on my scanner so that you can see how because it taking a picture on the scanner of the circuit board after I've etched it is actually more difficult than before I etch it. So I'm going to do that in a minute. I'm just going to do a scan and get more detail. And yeah, well, there's actually, when I was cleaning it in the water, I didn't find one black speck anywhere, which is good because that means that none of the black transfers have come off the board. So yeah, it worked out really well. So I don't know how I can get a zoomed picture. Really doesn't really work. It's just, yeah, the writing there, I can read that actually when I'm using a magnifying glass, but it doesn't seem to want to show up on the camera. I've got my ferric chloride in a bottle. I keep it in a filing cabinet actually, stay away from anything. So put some of that in here, and then I'm going to put boiling water in the other tray. So I've got two trays for safety. I always keep the ferric chloride in the centre container, and I use boiling water on the outside. I've always done that way. It's a lot easier than putting ferric chloride in the microwave, and it's not a good idea to microwave it anyway, to be honest. Alright, there we go. Got the ferric chloride in. Put the container lid on. Nice and secure, so we don't get any of that on us. We don't want any of that stuff because it's toxic and well, it burns actually. Just going to rinse my hands because the container might be a good bit, just in case. You're supposed to wear gloves actually, but as long as you're really careful, it's not really a problem. Now the boiling water. I'm going to have steam again. Oops. That should be enough. Then it's a case of rocking side to side. The boiling water will soon warm the etchant solution up. And basically you've got to do this probably 10 minutes, something. Unfortunately, because I've got the lid on, you can't see much. But just trust me, it will etch the copper off the board, yeah. And leave the copper on where the transfers, where the photo etch or laser toner is on the board. So yeah, that will hold it down. And then I'm just going to leave that and come back in about, well, let's see. I'll come back in about 10 minutes. Oh, damn it. I'll just push the 10 button. It's easier. I did press kitchen timer. Right. So I'll come back in about 10 minutes. And it should be pretty much... I'll have to take the lid off and have a look when I do that. Okay, we're going to have a peek. See how we're doing. Oh my god, we're almost there. Now look at that. Just to prove it, the light should shine right through. There we go. Ooh. It's not even 10 minutes yet. 1 minute to go. 1.5 minutes to go. I think we're there actually. I'm going to bring the light down here because... Right, let's have a look. Well, it looks like we're done. Now I need to find one particular area which I know is very tight. It's right down there. Yes, it looks like we're done. I can't see any copper remaining that needs to be removed. So that's it. Right, I can take this out of the water now. That's boiling water, so I'll leave that in there for now. And yeah, so I need to get out of that bath now. Ooh, they're knocking everything over. I have to go and get my tweezers. Right, get my tweezers. These have seen some action, I tell you, in the acid world. Ferric chloride, actually. Right, let's get this out. Now let's dunk it in the boiling water to rinse. There we go. Look at that. I went and dropped a bit of ferric chloride on my table. That's why you're supposed to wear gloves. I haven't got an... Oh, there's a bit there as well. I am going to have to get some tissue to wipe that up. Yeah, you certainly don't want to get that stuff on you. Where's the other one? Once we've got that cleaned up, yeah. Because it kind of stinks. It really stinks. And I need to put this back in the bottle. See, what happens is I put it back in the bottle and all the copper sinks to the bottom of the bottle. And then I can use it over and over again until it gets to, you can see the copper there. Once it gets too used up, then you've got to neutralise it and dispose of it safely. But basically that's all the copper that's been etched off the boards in the bottom there. Yeah. So I'm just going to stand this bottle in the sink and remove all my pots. I don't want to put anything on my cutlery. It's not a good idea, especially since it's food utensils. But I'm going to empty the sink, stand the bottle in the sink, and I remove the lid. Damn it, it's hard, it's tight. Now I just have to pour this back into my bottle very carefully. You've got to protect the environment. But there's a tiny little residual amount in there, but that's not going to do any harm. Such a tiny amount. But if you've got baking soda, just add baking soda to neutralise the etchant before disposal. It's not boiling anymore. Right, there we have it. We've just got to remove the toner off the board now. I'll just put that in there to rinse it more. It's not stopped. Rather than watching all me doing all of this, but here we go, halfway there. So, a little bit more scrub. Not a lot you can see really. Back in the bath. Yep, there we go. Pretty much there. Yep, there's a bit of vanilla. I can't use my fingernails. Well, it turned out there were some minor imperfections. The tracks were quite thin in some places. Only very slight imperfections, but I actually marked some areas. There's a tiny little fracture, but it's actually still connected by a thin strand. So what I did was I used my conductive paint, and I put a little blob of conductive paint on the track. That will just make sure that it stays connected, and it will also let me know later on where the weakness is, and then I can always solder a little piece of wire across there just to strengthen it. And I've been going over it with I've got an eraser here. It's a soft rubber one on one end and a hard ink rubber on the other. So what I'm doing, I'm using this to go over the copper, basically to polish it, because of using the abrasive stuff. It tends to take the shine off the copper. So by using this abrasive, it actually brings the shine back. It just takes off and takes away the scratches. Some of the techniques I use, and it just brings it up, and it also makes it easier to see imperfections. Plus there's still some toner still on there, tiny little specks of toner, and it helps to get rid of those little bits. So yeah, I'll just carry on doing this and show you when I've finished. I'll do another screenshot probably later. Right, there we have it. I've just used the eraser, the ink eraser, and we've got it a nice shine back on the copper board, and got rid of what was left of that toner. As you can see, some of these thin lines, these aren't tracks actually, but these are the outline, and I left it in the acid a little bit too long, and it got underneath the toner. But that line's not really important. Trouble is, I left it, I should have been watching it really, but I left it in the thing for about 8 minutes, and I went back and it was done. So probably should have pulled it out a little bit sooner, but it's alright. As I say, there's some of these tracks, if I put the light behind it, let's see, put the light behind it, this is with a backlighting, you might be able to see, actually I'll get the magnifying glass if I can. Right, you might be able to see some of the tracks are a little bit thin. Let's see, those are the nice thick chunky ones, they're alright, but I actually patched up one with a bit of conductive paint, which seems to work, just in case I forget where it was. Yeah, there's a track at just below that big thick one at the top. It's got a tiny little area where it's a little bit thinner, but it's good. This can actually promote brakes later on with heat expansion. Can cause some breaks, and that transistor there, there was a bridge on it. I had to pick it out with my knife because there was a little tiny bit of copper still in there, which shouldn't. And right on the edge of the board there's a few imperfections you can just see down the right hand side, but they aren't really a problem because that's just a ground line that goes around the outside of the board. It's not really critical. And down there at the bottom, that's good because it's nice and thick there. So anyway, the backlight does show. Back when you put the light behind the board, it helps to show up any holes, any areas where there's too much copper, and these come out pretty well. And then there's the small board on the end, which I've got to cut that board off now actually, because that's for a separate job. this little board on the end, this circuit here, is for a different job, so I'm going to be using that later on at some point. I'll put some little, they look like right here under my finger, there's a little like 3 capacitor symbols, well there's 2 lines, and that's where I can use solder blobs to change the 2 sections into series or parallel. Just put them on there. I thought, well, that'll make it easier than using wire links later on. I can put some blobs of solder on the 2 outside ones, or on the just on the 1 inside one. To change it each side from series or parallel. Yeah, that come out pretty good. There is some imperfections on the edge, but that's not bad. This is fine. Yeah, it saves me a lot of money using transfers, using a laser printer, that's for sure. It's a lot easier. Yeah, we could do jewelry. You can do jewelry with this as well. Yeah, you can etch copper ornaments and things by using a similar technique to use protruding copper and raised copper and things like that. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. The writing's just barely readable, but I can read it when I look at it under a magnifying glass. So, right. Just got to cut this small board off there now. Basically down that line. So this is the where I get my little manky hacksaw that doesn't work so well, and cut this small piece off because that's a separate project. Right, I'm not going to bore you with my struggles. Well, we're almost there. Oh God, talk about work. Oh my God, my wrist's killing me. I've got a problem with my wrists, you see, and I don't know what it is. Probably damaged my tendons when I was working in heavy engineering work back in my teens. So, see if I'll show you what I mean about this hacksaw if I can. If I can get the camera in my hand. If I can hold the damn thing. It's a really bad job. I need a new hacksaw. I really do. If you press too hard, it just locks up on you. So I've got to go slowly. Takes forever. Right, I can't hold this camera at the same time. Oh, finally, 2 pieces. The small one, which is from my motor project, which is a different job, and I managed to do it without actually cutting into the track, so that was good. Right. Well, this is one we're interested in right now. So I actually got 2 boards for the price of one, because it's ironing. It was just as easy to use the iron one time rather than having to use it twice. So it saved me electric as well, having to do it just once.